Hi everyone and welcome to our channel. My name is Eleonora Romanini. I'm a registered migration agent in Perth, Western Australia, and my agency is Green Wings Migration. Today I want to talk to you about the 186 visa. I think the 186 visa, especially the direct entry option, it's underrated and not promoted enough when you meet a migration agent. Let's start from the fact that the 186 visa is a sponsored visa. So when you work for a business and you are offered a sponsorship opportunity, you can consider both the 186 and the more common 482. The biggest difference between those two visas is that the 482 is a temporary solution that will lead to permanent residency, while the 186 is an option for permanent residency right away. That's right. As soon as this visa is granted, you become a permanent resident of Australia, as well as family members if they were included in your application. So obviously this is a great opportunity. With great opportunities comes a greater effort to achieve the visa itself. The first effort is to negotiate the possibility to proceed with your employer. You must understand that once you get this visa, because you are a permanent resident, you are legally under no obligation to stay with your sponsor. So on the other hand, the business may choose not to offer this possibility because once the visa is approved, you may effectively walk away. And this is something that your employer may not be happy with. So some businesses can actually be happier to offer you a 482 sponsorship with the possibility to transition to PR as soon as you have served your 2 years of employment with them. Some others instead will be happy to help you achieve your permanent residency as soon as possible. If you do find an employer who is happy to sponsor you for this opportunity, take it right away and consult with a migration agent as soon as possible to verify your eligibility for the visa itself. Obviously, with better outcomes, we have to expect a little bit harder way in order to obtain the visa itself. First of all, a higher level of English compared to a regular sponsor will be needed. We're talking about a competent level as opposed to a vocational level. So if you are a fan of the IELTS test, you will have to prepare for a result of 6 in each band score of the test itself. Or if you prefer to sit a PTE test, you will have to aim for 50 in each component of the test. The second criterion that you need to meet is to pass a skills assessment from the relevant authority that is assessing your occupation. Right now we have approximately 60 different assessing authorities, so it would be important to choose the one that is specific for your occupation and to make sure that you are aware of the criteria they are looking into your profile. Some of the most common assessing authorities are, for example, VET-Assess or Trades Recognition Australia. Be mindful that in most cases, these kind of assessing authorities want you to have a combination of a relevant qualification and a relevant work experience. And the amount of work experience can vary depending on the occupation that you are seeking to be assessed under. The last criterion that you must meet in terms of skills and experience is that you must have at least 3 years of full-time or equivalent full-time experience for the 186 visa in a role that is highly relevant to the occupation that you are nominating. So let's say that the 186 direct entry visa is a suitable option for people who already come to Australia with a profile that sees them skilled in the occupation that they have chosen. If you are started to work in an occupation since recently, or if you are simply interested in an occupation but you don't have the work experience, you don't have the qualification, or you don't have at least 3 years of work experience, then the 186 visa is not for you and we need to consider alternative options. Because it's a sponsor, the 186 visa requires that you are nominated from a business and that you then apply for your visa. It's a more convenient option financially wise for the business sponsoring you because they're legally only obligated to pay the amount of SAF levy and government charges relevant to the nomination. So a nomination normally costs $540 in government charges, and the SAF levy can vary between $3,000 and $5,000. So obviously, if you compare these figures to a regular 482, it's much, much less. So this is something that you may use to convince your employer to sponsor you for a 186 visa instead of a 482. Last but not least, 186 visas are not for everyone. So we have seen that there are specific criteria you must meet, but it also goes down to the skill occupation list that your occupation belongs to. Your occupation must be on the long-term skill list for 186 direct entry visas. For example, if you work as a restaurant manager, or if you work as a gardener, as a cook, as a pastry chef, those occupations are featured on the short-term skill list, and those occupations will not lead you to a 186 direct entry application. So just to summarize the positivity of the 186 visa, what's important for you to know is that it costs less to the employer, so it may be easier to convince them to sponsor you on a 186 direct entry visa. The processing time is actually between 6 to 11 months, but if you consider how long it would take you to get to PR if you go through the regular 482 pathway, it's much shorter, because on the other hand, you will have at least 2 years. And then once granted, this visa grants you permanent residency and the rights that come with permanent residency. So obviously this is a much better opportunity if you have the right profile to achieve it. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you found it useful, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us online through our social media, and you can check our website www.greenwingsmigration.com.au. Through the website, you may book a consultation with me or my colleague Stefania. And if you want to make sure to remain updated with the most recent news in terms of Australian migration, please subscribe to our newsletter. I hope to see you next time.